Is it? Let me see. I think it's the same old one which I saw. When was this recorded? When was this recorded? I can't see. Oh, date. But I've heard this person talking about land, food, and skills before, and I didn't follow um, video. This is when I was kind of like forwarding his, like just skipping his videos, and eventually something got my attention with one of his descriptions, and I went into it to listen to what he was saying, and I remembered what I had to do for him, because I actually remembered that he is one of those who has a message. Now, this specific one, it's about 18 minutes as well, so I'm gonna listen to it. I'm hoping that he is on point this time. I want to try to listen to him fully, but I'm really hoping he's telling something concrete here this time. Let me see if I can actually. Let's see.
I went into labor to birth land, food, and skills. Why am I always talking about land, food, and skills? Because that is the ancient way of life. We don't wake up to work for systems. You wake up to serve your soul. So the concept of land, food, and skills is to even throw more light on the fact that life is about waking up, okay, being conscious of your environment, eating clean, taking sunlight, staying happy, and going to bed. This is the life, right? Life is as simple as this, right? Along the line, there is a serious programming that makes people think that they came on here to serve something in exchange for money. I am not here discarding money, that money isn't good, but I can even guarantee you for a fact that when you operate from the concept of living instead of working for something, all the things that the people are working for, they come to you at ease, right? There is a principle. We raise attraction when we don't force things, right? So life has always been living and resting, okay? You don't wake up into an alarm clock or into a certain, I'm in a hurry, this is the deadline, right? All these are programs by an alienated system that makes you think that you are in a hurry for something and you need to compete for something. You need to achieve this task, okay? Sometimes you have to take a deep breath and look at this whole life. Don't you see that the people are busy for nothing? They are busy, but they are doing nothing. Busy for nothing, right? So does it look like, so now it looks like you came on earth to work for money to die? No. A lot has happened. And that is why people like us, our messages are a wake-up call to tell you to rest. Because even achieving everything in life comes from rest. And when we talk about rest, it's simply grounding. Your ability to find your grounds, to ground. And that is how I went into labor and birth land, food, and skills. Anyone who takes this project very serious is going to see that this is the truth, the reality, right? That is why I tell people that, you know, awakening is simply to wake up into rest, okay? Many things are calling for your performance, many things are calling for your work, many things are coming in to stress you. But when you look into these things, you realize that they don't even profit your soul. They rather take a lot from your soul, right? The secret has always been in the fact that you are not putting in any effort to achieve something. Listen, um,
All right, so my thinking is everybody should be living here based on their spiritual purpose. Every program is designed for a specific purpose or for a specific reason. So perhaps his program is about staying and doing nothing. What is it? Yeah, it's about not doing much, maybe doing what he's talking about, learn something and skills. But your purpose, your spiritual purpose could be different. Your spiritual purpose could be the fact that you actually have to do some work. The fact that you actually have to be in some sort of a workplace, right? And I'm going to say this because this is where I'm coming back to the iteration of saying things like the current way of life cannot be called an illusion anymore. That is the state of realness that we used to think existed before and should be existing even now has long gone. The idea that you can go back into how people used to live many years ago, or whatever the case may be, learn food and skills in that way, that's not going to work so much. Perhaps depending on where you live, it might not look the same as what it used to be or what it could have been had we continued to live in the way the olden days people used to live. So that whole thing of, oh, we are living in an illusion, oh, this is a simulation, oh, this is not reality, oh, you can create your own reality shit, it's not going to work anymore, because unfortunately you've been in such an illusion for such a long time that the sense of reality has been left way behind. That is, everything has been reprogrammed by the devil system to be in this way. Therefore, you have to exist, unfortunately, in a state of this. And it cannot be called illusion anymore, because it is actually our reality. To try to make it into something that you hope it should have been, or you wish it should have been, or you hope it should be. Maybe hope it should be, I get it. But unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do that if you don't recognize this as what it really is. The first step is to accept that you are fucked, that what once was some sort of an illusion is now a reality, because you're trapped in it. You cannot leave it. And even if you left it, what are you going to leave it to? Because that reality that used to be there doesn't exist. In a sense of, some of the things that used to enable that reality are not available today. And neither should they be as well, perhaps. For instance, for me, I really believe a lot in evolution. This is why you want to go to the 5D, right? And in the 5D, as much as things might still keep into some sort of a natural state, that is, there's no harming of the natural programs in that way. That is, there's mindfulness living there, despite the fact that you can actually build your big mansion. You actually have a big, people in the paradise environment had some sort of a huge estate, and they would build such huge, beautiful homes, right? But it was abundance. You live in a sense of abundance. There's no such thing as, oh, you're wasting land there, oh, you're wasting material, or you're living in a 5-6 bedroom house and you're wasteful, but it's just you're being wasteful. There's no such a mentality there. The mentality is, can you afford it energetically? Oh yeah, I can. Oh, well, it's your business. No one interferes with anyone else's program, right? Because you don't know what energy I have. I could build in that way because of I am such a energy. You could build in a different way because you are that energy, right? Or you have that much energy. And it's up to you, and no one else interferes with how everybody else is building. So, to think that you can still go through life with that idea, I have a problem with it. Because I'm like, well, how long are we going to get stuck in the same fucking old cycle of, it's not to say that that was past. I mean, can we implement an automation of farming today? Hell yeah. Why not? Can we implement it in such a way that it's not going to harm the world? Of course. Can we benefit from creating things that don't need to be watered? Perhaps. Why do you still want to live off your back in that way in 2026? Where is the evolution going to come from? What are you? He's saying in the description, you are on earth to do nothing. The patriarchy doesn't want you to know this. And I'm like, this whole thing of you can come here and sit in some sort of a position or meditation pose or walk there barefoot in some forest somewhere and expect your life to be good in that way, and that's life for you. It's good and well, but do not try to force it down everyone else's throat. I'm actually for that, by the way. I'm actually that kind of person. I'm actually that kind of person who would want to live in the forest alone if possible and live off, nature in that way. I'm that kind of a person. But would I stop or not want to to see progress and innovation? No. In a healthy way, of course. But in a not so healthy way, yeah, maybe we might have a problem. But there's always going to be, whatever you create, right? Especially if it's created from a low vibrational state, there's always going to be a trade-off in terms of advantages and disadvantages of implementing something that could be seen in such a way that, oh, it's not good, it's not how we used to do it in the olden days. Some things in the olden days, yes, are worth keeping. Values, for instance, yeah. If we implemented systems carrying some sort of good values, right, it doesn't mean that they have to be good values because if they come from the olden days. You could develop good values today in this low vibrational reality. Start developing good values today. The time to be crying over spilled fucking milk is long gone. To come here and sit and be like, oh, we used to do it this way. Oh, Yeshua did it this way. Oh, Vishnu did it this way. Oh, Shiva did it that way, is long fucking gone. Unfortunately for you, you got fucking trapped in this fucking illusion that you thought it's an illusion, but it's a reality now. And to get yourself out of it, you need to come up with new solutions. You cannot be fucking expecting the fucking old solutions to be working in this environment. If they were so fucking great and they were so fucking perfect, we wouldn't be here. And this is why you have to upgrade. This is why upgrade, which are timed properly, were important, right? Are still important. The problem with Earth is that it missed the proper upgrades at the proper time, right? But then in that time when you missed these upgrades, Unfortunately for Earth became a totally different rogue planet. It doesn't look like anything that was meant to be in this planet. Not the planet itself and not the beings itself. So now how do you move forward? You can't move forward by going backwards. It doesn't work. You can't move forward by being backwards. You have to understand where you are first. Accept where you are and start building solutions based on where you are going forward. Some of these ideas of nature and the way people used to do it, they don't are not relevant today. They are not relevant anymore. If you're talking about nature in the sense of you want to protect nature, let's not do too much on nature. Let's build high vibrationally, that is built with in such a way that it still is nature and energy conscious in that way. However, you can still build me a madhouse, but I want the fucking madhouse looking like a fucking palace. That's what I want today. I'm not going to live below what I feel like would be comfortable for me, right? And just because of I want to not, I do know that I don't want to waste. That's why I like a small house, right? But I want it to be, it shouldn't be too big. I always ask this question, who's gonna clean it, right? But I need it to be comfortable. I need all my comforts in there, right? Do I need the nature outside? Of course, but it has to be manageable. I have to be able to manage it as well, because nature can be quite in your face like that. It can be quite especially if you don't know how to deal with it. I know I tried that shit and I realized quickly that nature can quickly overwhelm you, especially if you are coming up with systems around it. If you still like your creature comforts, like toilet or like storage systems and water and all of that, nature can be quite rough on you unless you grew up in that environment. And do you want to keep it that way? If it works, why not? Right? But this is the danger of following someone else's path who tells you this is why we should do this is why we should do that. It doesn't work because of you're going to follow someone who can or who has lived his life in that kind of an environment and feels that that is comfortable for him, right? However, you might not necessarily be that easily able to apply yourself in that kind of environment. That is, it will take you some time to learn to live in that kind of state, right? Natural state of something like that. But the question is, why are you doing it? Are you doing it because your program purpose calls for it? Or are you doing it because you're following someone else's steps? I remember when when my father was planning my mission. There's a part where when he's done planning your mission, he always calls you to say, come. And he did this. My understanding is that he did it with every one of us. You just don't remember. Where he calls you to say, okay, I've done with your mission, but now it's time for you to come and choose what you want to live like the things that you want, at that time in that future. What do you want to live in? Where do you want to live? What car you want to drive? What kind of life do you want to live? So things like that, you're going to have to choose for yourself. Where do you want to live? And I remember him showing me houses, right? And I was choosing this small house because I'm that kind of girl sometimes. It's not to say that I don't mind a big house. I just asked him the questions like, who's going to clean this? Who's going to maintain this? And he's like, don't worry about that. And I looked at him, I was like, but then in my mind, he showed me something. He said there'll be things in that future that will help you clean. And I'm already picking them up. I'm already seeing them, right? And I'm like, I am definitely doing this. Father said there are things that are going to help me clean, if I live in a big house, right? And I'm going to do that. I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, oh, you're wasteful and whatever. Fuck you. I'm abundant like that. I'm gonna live my life abundantly. So whether I'm living it in the bundus or I'm living it in the in the urban area, I'm going to try to live my life in the bund. I'm a bundu girl. I mean, I can survive anywhere. Well, I I've been through it, and I like, even when I travel, I always, especially road trips and stuff, I always add a part of the travel which is going to be some sort of a bundu bashing, or just like out in the what do they call it, off-roading or something like that, like just out in the normal, out of the normal way of living kind of a place, like an adventures. Sometimes I do adventure as well. It's like it has to have some sort of a nature place there. So I understand, but I don't do it. There are people who do it well. I'm one of those who still needs some creature comforts of some kind, but I love it. I do like it, and I feel like it's today. It's 2026. I'm not gonna do it the way they used to do it in 2030 if I can do it better today. Because it's not to say that the things, I mean, not 2030, I mean, when is it? 1930s or something. It's not to say as well that the things that we used to do then were good. This is the reason for you to upgrade. This is the reason for you to spiritually ascend. Is that you need to be a being who feels like, you know what, going forward, the 4D, we would like to see some change like this. Like I've already said, I don't want to be pooping anymore. I don't want to be pooping and peeing. I don't want to be having to bath or something like that, because that shit wastes time for me. You know, to be honest, if it wasn't because of I love food so much, right, I would have said no eating as well. But then I like cooking and I like food. I like tasting good food. So the pill thing is not gonna work for me. Or the we don't eat thing. But I would say I would like not to have to need it. That is, it should be something that is like, oh, let's have some fun, let's cook something. But I shouldn't be eating from a hunger or from a nourishment kind of a thing. I should be eating from an enjoyment of what I'm cooking or the food that I want to eat, or for entertainment kind of a way. It shouldn't, I shouldn't eat it and then it comes back and it's like, okay, we gotta go to pooping and peeing. It should be somehow managed in my system in such a way that I don't need to do it. It should be recycled and sent everywhere else where it needs to be as energy for me. So that's what I'm already seeing myself living as, right? I don't want to be doing this whole thing of I've been on Earth has been in the 3D, and then you want to take that shit to the 5D to, then leave me here, then you can go to your 5D there. What's the point? What's the point of having an energy an energy abundant life, right? And you're thinking so small. You're thinking so backward. Not only are you thinking small, but you're thinking backward. It's not to say that you cannot live in nature in that way, but it has to be, for me, I would like it manicured. I'm not going to lie. The spaces around me, I would like them to be manicured, but every other place, I would like to leave it as natural as it can be. I mean, you watch the movies of these fantasy movies of the hobbits and all of that. They always had these towns where it was still very natural, but it was manicured. It wasn't like nature was taking over the place every now and then. And I don't need that, right? I want to have a place where, at least where we live, it's properly done, properly spaced out. The house is okay. I can clean easily, easy to maintain. What, you know what I mean? So the awakening part of it, that's one of the things that I had him talking about it. You are awakened to, I was trying to say this. If God himself wants me to have a nice big home, this is what Father did. And I was like, no, I want this one. It's like, no, you can't live in there. And I was like, why not? It's like, just pick a better home. And I was like, okay, fine. And I tried, and eventually I was getting I think I was annoying him, and he was annoying me as well, because he wanted me to choose a bigger home, and I didn't see any value in it. I just felt like, oh, this is so cute. It's so me, because I'm imagining myself living alone, right? I'm not imagining myself living with others. Perhaps he knows why he wants to have that house. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, if God Himself is going to be the kind of being who's going to want better for you, want more for you, right? Um, why are you going to limit yourself based on someone else's idea of what his life should be? Because this is why I'm saying it's very dangerous to follow other people's spiritual paths. It's very dangerous to listen to what other people's paths are like. It's almost as if, like, Father, for my mission, He made sure that He plans my mission in such a way that it goes against every belief system that people have been made to go through or believe or swallow in that way about Him and what He would have liked us to have. In my home in heaven, it's not a mud house. No. Unfortunately, I don't know how it looks so much outside. All I know is that it's a huge building. It's a concrete building. I can tell you though that it doesn't have color. Most of the buildings in the spiritual world where Father lives, where I lived, not in paradise, because that's a separate place, where Father and I lived, and my mother, where we lived, it's very much greyish concrete. It's almost like he still kept the same theme as when they were living in the servers, because where the servers are, that is the servers where our programs are run or our programs live, it's mostly concrete type of building which don't have sides. So he kept the same theme with his home. However, he is big. All I know is that it's wide. I haven't been to many other places, right? I haven't been to many other places. I know there's a warehouse and not one, or there's more than one. I'm not sure. Father's house, man, is really much what he needs and he adds. It's not like oh um he doesn't have this idea of us wanting this nice Victorian type of mansions and stuff. He just built a nice gray sort of like concrete type of a house, and that's it. The hell part of as well, it's like a warehouse. It's the very same warehouse that you see today in your environment, physical environment, like take a lot or Amazon, whatever warehouses are there. It's very similar. That's the hell, because of its intention is not to be there forever. It was just a makeshift quickly because of people started getting low vibrational. This is why hell was created. It was never a plan, right? And what I'm trying to say is, he doesn't live in a madhouse, although he does have an opportunity to do that if he wanted to. And I believe that they probably did at some stage, right? And there are other beings in paradise who I know of. Adam, who has built a madhouse, and he loves it, right? Not a madhouse, but like, yeah, I think it's a madhouse. Or yeah, he did it with a madhouse, and he loves it. He's like, I built this house with my own bare hands. He loves it because of that. But this is, I found out later that this is a house he stays at when he's working, when he's on shift, because he's a caretaker of paradise. And one day we went to see his actual home, where if he's not on shift, then somebody else is manning like doing his shift or whatever. Um, he's at home. His home is different. It's pretty much, you can see what era it belongs to. People have built different era types of homes, and it works for some reason. It's like it's not just modern and all of that. There's like, but most of the beings in paradise are kind of like coming from an era behind, like they behind us. That is like an era before this kind of modern, you know, time. Did I see anything modern, too modern? Not really, but there are modern homes. It's just that they're not modern, this modern. What they were considered as modern at some stage. That's what. Um, they're not too palacey though. It's like after the palace era, right? And some are actually far much more more modern than that. So what I'm trying to say is that even people in paradise, I don't live in that way. Although there are people who choose to keep some sort of a dense nature around their homes, but it's managed, right? The idea of your upgrade, the idea of your ascension, your spiritual being, your spiritual program ascension is to also kind of figure those things out for yourself. Don't limit yourself based on this is another way this world limited people to make them think that the be all and end all of living is in nature, and you will be fine if you just lived like a recluse in some nature out there. And yeah, I do like to go, right, and come back. And I also don't mind building there, but this is what I wanted to do with my cabin, although I was disrupted, right? And I don't mind that, but it still has to, for me, it still has to have today's creature comfort still. Why not? Right? And it must be also in such a way that it's efficient as well when in that kind of environment. And I'm not saying I'm going to break the environment just to make myself comfortable there. No. Whatever is working today. If you look at the camping type of stuff, you'll see that life has been made very easy. You don't have to do the things the way or live the way people used to live in the forests or bushes or something like that. There's a lot of things like solar power is one of those things. Like there are things to filter your water easily if you're getting it from the river. So there are pumps, there are more, things are very compact and mobile, things like that. So it means that you have no excuse to live like a, I don't know what I would call it. But going back to again this land something something and skills. I get that. And I also believe in that it is important for people to keep some sort of a, especially skills. You should know how to be able to do basic skills like things like how to plant something. You don't have to be perfect in planting a lot of things. Just be perfect in making sure that your things that you would most probably survive with are going to be easy for you to grow. How to grow things, for instance. I do believe that it's one of those things. It's not to say that if you don't have it, you are bad or something, but it's a very beneficial thing to have. This that kind of skill. Uh, I'm not an animal kind of gata kind of a person like that. So I would have loved to know how to fish. I would have loved to know how to hunt, right? Because I needed that skill when I was stuck in the bush alone at some stage. And because there was a lot of meat around me, but I just didn't know how to use that. And I think it was actually a good thing because for some reason they didn't want me to have meat as well. But I think it was because of my stomach had issues. So to process, it was going to be difficult for me to process because of the attacks that they were doing on my stomach. Because as soon as I left, not even before I left, I started eating meat immediately when I came out. The other thing is land. I suppose it's always going to be one of those things as well because of it's one of those things that if we should have been able to share that equally. If this world is so big, we should be able to own some piece of space for ourselves, right? Uh, but this world is built in such a way that this system, devil system, is built in such a way that it makes it difficult for people to own land. But the thing is, to own land is not so difficult unless you want to own it around and then like in or around a developed area. Then you might have a problem with that. But knowing how to do small kind of animal rearing or farming like chickens and stuff, I do think is also one of the nice, because that's how I grew up as well. Most homes when I grew up had a tree or a couple of trees, right? Fruit trees. They also had the one thing they also had was sugar cane somewhere. They also had chickens. And I remember my great grandmother used to she had a farm as well, but she would go and work there and come back home. Home was not The farm wasn't in a where she lived, right? Her home was different, was somewhere else. So she would go there with the women of the community. They would farm, and then after farming their harvest, she would bring like maize, right? And she would dry it and she would grind it with a stone. Things like that. I would plant, obviously, but like corn or something or maize. But I'm not gonna grind it with a stone. Excuse me. This things like very powerful 900 watts, 1700 watts kind of power blenders and stuff. I am not grinding with stone. It's today, right? But then it's electrical. Do we have anything that is not electrical? Yes, they are there. They are there, right? And sometimes you can even build something to help you. I see that the Chinese, they do use stones. I don't know if it's just for YouTube or something, but there are some things that they do that are there in the community somewhere, which they still use to kind of like grind their flowers and stuff. That is still kind of cool having that. But am I going to go through that length? No, because this is why you're going to have to calculate things like solar power. How am I going to use this um, blender or whatever food processor with that kind of wattage, you know? So, but if this is where we need to move forward. People need to think about system. I feel like people should be thinking about systems like that going forward, not going backwards and living in a way that we think it's the right way. Yes, it's the right way, but then what is the right way today? And to go on and tell people that that's or to kind of like allude to say this is how or how people should be living, or I think people should be living. No, I don't think so. I could say I don't think so. I think people should be living the way their purpose dictates to them to live. That is, if you align with God, when you do get to align with God and the spirit team gives you your directions to say, you don't know what you agreed to there. You're missing out. You could have agreed to many wonderful things, right? And you're robbing yourself to access those things simply because you're lazy. You don't want to do the work to access those things, because that's another sign of laziness as well. You're here to do nothing, really. You're here to waste space. At whose energy are you here with? Are you honestly saying to me that God would give you such a wonderful opportunity just so you can come here and waste it? You could say it, maybe he means that. I think that's what he means. Yeah, he said something about systems, working for systems and whatnot. But here's the thing as well. These systems are there. We've created them. We, not God, we. This is how our planet evolved to. So you cannot be saying you're not part of it in a way, because you came here and you're not trying to change it in a way that it's possible for it to change. You're trying to move it backwards. But what I'm asking is, could we possibly change it in such a way that we move it forward, not backwards, but in a more sustainable, or not sustainable per se, but efficient. I like efficiency. Is it going to be sustainable towards the future? Maybe towards some future. Because guess what? We have to evolve. We have to keep moving. We have to keep growing. We have to keep changing. So yes, what is sustainable in the next today and the next coming 5, 10, 20 years might not necessarily be the case in the other coming 20 to 50 years. Despite that, it might not even be relevant in the 4D. It might not be relevant in the 5D. Then what? But the important thing is, are we moving forward or are we moving backwards? And also, it's never a good idea to follow someone else's path. You have your own path. You have your own path. To come and listen to things like this, where people are telling you this is how we should be living. It's flawed, because I go back every time. It's like, is this true? And then I start thinking, oh no, this is not what Father did for me. He did something totally different, and something that people would think, no way. There's no way God would want you to be like this. And when I tell you that, when you remember that you are a God, you live in paradise, and you have a home which is beautiful and big and all of that, you're not living in the bundus like that. There is another question of whether we're doing these things for the right reasons. Are we doing it because of it's easy, or are we doing it because of it's difficult for us to do the other stuff, which is heavier, in order for us to be able to get what ascend through the spiritual ladder and achieve and reach out for the things that spiritual ascension will essentially enable us to get to, and what that would look like. Imagine if you say this person says this, and tomorrow, he was talking like this, right? Tomorrow something happens in his life and he changes, and he finds himself ascending, and he ascends, and then the next thing he sees, he has the access, he's got all kinds of things, and he has access to all this abundance, and it's beautiful. And they're like, no, you have this abundance, where are you going to live? Is this the same person who's going to be like, I'm going to go and live in nature and then live in the bundus like that? No, he's not. He's going to be out there, fancy living, all kinds of wild things in there, and everybody who followed him will be like, wow, but isn't he the same guy who said we must live like this? We are living like this, and he's busy making cash. It's going to look weird. It's going to look like he's a liar. This is why people say one thing on the YouTube channels, but then they can't keep up with it, because of when they get those followings and whatnot, they get some sort of recognition on YouTube, gives them these things. I don't know what they call them. Yeah, whatever YouTube things that they put behind in their cupboards or something like that for all of us to see. What do they call those things? Yeah, and it comes probably with some money, I don't know, but then life improves, and it should. You worked hard for that. It should show. But then now, when the money is coming in, life is improving, abundance is flowing, are you going to stop that by trying to be like, yeah, but then I still want to live in the bundus. I still want to. This is why people end up saying people are liars. It's because of they cannot keep up with that shit that they've been telling people. And I'm not going to lie. If I get some abundance or access to abundance, I'm off. If I can do it in such a way that is very much natural and I get the space or time or opportunities to go into a natural state, I would do that. But now I also know how I want it because of I tried it, right? And this is I tried it to do it the way I wanted it, but I got disrupted because of I had to go through this awakening. And doesn't help that the comics were also on my case like that. But had I been had that opportunity, if I had get the opportunity to do it again, I'll do it better next time. I still want to do it. And yeah, so I would rather say, whenever I hear this type of talk, I was really hoping that he would. He likes to to tell people to do what he thinks. It's very weird. I know I do that, right? But I'm doing my job here. I'm doing that because of I'm doing my job. I'm not saying follow me, because destiny does it her way. I do my own way. Tomorrow when you see me doing something different there, I would have told you, I'll turn back and say, I told you to go and align with God himself and he'll tell you what you should be doing with your life. Leave me alone. Let me mind my own program and you go mind your own program. Right? That's what I will, it will always be my stance that I'm not going to tell you to live my life. You don't know how far you can go with your life. You could be limiting yourself based on other people's ideas and perceptions about themselves, their own limitations. He's talking from his own limited kind of way of thinking. And you could be blocking your abundance in that way because of someone is telling you, oh, you shouldn't be wearing earrings. There's some churches who talk about people shouldn't be wearing jewelry or something like that. And I'm like, fuck that. What is that? What am I here for? This is a fucking physical world. I'm going to be as physical as I can be. I'm going to enjoy all the physical things. Oh, we shouldn't be wearing earrings. It's a sign of, what is that? It's almost like you're showing off the flesh or what like that. And I'm like, what? Huh? I know it's been mined and all of that, but it doesn't matter. It's the current situation. If you wanted to change in that way, produce it better then. This is why we're here. We're here to find better ways to do things. We're not here to come and condemn this everything. Condemn this one, condemn that, condemn this yeah, it's fine. We are condemning it, but what's the solution going forward? Right? That should be the stance of, okay, we can see that it's not really working out. We're mining too much and whatever, but we are used to this. How do we do jewelry? Oh no, the olden days they used to do jewelry like this with stones and stuff. It's like, I like it if it looks good, but what am I going to wear it with? Is it functional? Am I going to wear all, because they wore some very big heavy things, right? Some things in the past were not that great, to be honest. It's the idea that we should still be doing things in the way people were doing it in the past. If you really look at it, they were not really that great. And we have to take it for what it is, that sometimes somebody's going to sit down and be like, this old shit versus this new shit, which one is better? And it's us who are in this new age who needs to judge it, right? To say, they didn't better there, right? Perhaps we can bring that over. But when the rest of the stuff, I'm telling you, you're going to find out that they're not as brilliant to be taken through as before. For instance, I'm not going to be bashing. I don't know what the pyramids are for. People are saying they are some sort of a technology or something. And I kind of like think they could be. I don't know. But should we be building such things today? And for what reason? I mean, what's the reason for us to build that? And I feel like I didn't get a chance to visit Egypt. I have always wanted to visit Egypt, but I never got a chance. I used to plan to go to Egypt. It never happened. But anyway, I feel like I want to be even be able to go in there these days, because Tourists are just ruin shit for everybody. Some tourists are ruining shit for everybody. It's probably going to be restricted and all of that. But we don't build pyramids like that today. They built this, what is that tall building in Dubai? I forget names, right? I'm very tired right now. I don't have memory like that for things like that. But yeah, we built taller still. We built very. Is it a tall or a long build? Whatever. We're doing things better. Is it a good thing? Maybe today, tomorrow, it might not be a good. That's okay. It's not a good thing anymore. Let's find a new way. Let's find a new good way, right? And let's stop living in the past. Does spiritual ascension today mean the same thing as tomorrow? Yesterday, yes, spiritual alignment or ascension, does it mean the same today? Not necessarily. Because I'm looking at it right now, right? And I'm like, it doesn't necessarily mean exactly the same thing. You're a new program. You need to be a new program for a reason. You are an upgraded version of your ancestors. Therefore, it cannot be that you and your ancestors are going to look exactly alike. You're going to have a part of your functionality which is pretty much upgraded, different, evolved in some way. And you need to accept that. But if you keep trying to live the way your ancestors lived, it means you're going to keep the same program they kept. It means your ancestry and yourself and your program line, it's not going to survive because you're stuck in the fucking past. You're not upgrading yourself. Therefore, your children are not going to be upgraded. Your children are going to miss the upgrade, and it's a key upgrade, this one. Because in order for them to move to 5, they need to take 3 with to 4, and then 4 to 5. So you can't miss 3 upgrade. You have to get yourself aligned to God and remember what program you are and ascend spiritually. That is, learn the functionality that your program does. Behave in a way that is best for your program to run efficiently. Exist in this environment, including the universe, as the new program that you are. And be ready to move to the 4D and the 5D. So if you don't get that upgrade today, what are you going to teach your children? Because you haven't learned shit. All you did was look at, the ancestors, see, they used to do it this way and that way. Yes, you're going to learn what your ancestors did. I did. Right? I had to take note of some of the things that they did or how they did things. Not exactly everything that they did, just some key things. And then the rest of it, I did it my way. I did it my own way. And perhaps similar to some paths that were taken before, but in some way, in my own new version of destiny in this 20th century kind of girl, right? I did it that way. Was I going to do it the way Yeshua did? No. Was I going to do it the way my grandmother, great grandmother did? No. The things that they had then are not available today. There's no bands here. I cannot be born in a what is it? Is it a band? No, I was born on the street on a rainy day. In a car. That Love, Peace and Harmony car? That's where I was born. Because they tried to do the same shit by moving me as well when I'm supposed to be birthed at a certain place. But I did it my way, in the way that it would happen in the 20th century. And the rest of it is also, even though it's designed by God, it's a different one. That's what I'm trying to say. It's the way I have to do it in this current environment. So trying to go back to the ancestors in that way of trying to emulate them, what they did, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that you can't keep doing it all the way the ancestors did it. You have to redefine it for yourself going forward, for your own program going forward, so that you and your children can improve. But take along the information, take along the energy that your ancestors provide for you, because they do that. They give you the knowledge and the energy that they gathered when they lived here. But they are hoping and depending on you to take them forward. But you're not going to be taking them forward if you keep going back to, oh, they used to do this in the olden days. I'm going to do the same thing. Is it relevant? Perhaps. That's part of your functionality that is very relevant. You take it with. If it's not relevant, you improve it. You upgrade it. And you move forward. You get upgraded. You ascend spiritually. Right now, what I'm hearing is someone who doesn't want to ascend spiritually. And this is why he keeps talking crap. He comes up with all kinds of shit because of he's not tapping into his database, into his intuition, where the information is stored for him that this is what you came here to do. Not some crap about you came here to do nothing. And just because of you say patriarchy and someone like that, I don't even understand why patriarchy. Patriarchy doesn't want you to know. What is that? What does that mean anyway? It's as if like this patriarchy, again, they just slap any old name in a wrong West way and they run with it. And we're supposed to be like, how is patriarchy doing this, to be honest? What does it mean exactly? I don't understand that part. But anyway, we're going to listen to some more, hopefully. Oh, it's too long.
The Buddhists have the Wu Wei concept, which is no effort, right? It doesn't mean idle. It doesn't mean idle. It means no struggle for, right? No desperation, okay? No hunger for a certain material things that doesn't profit anything to your soul. However, Wu Wei empowers stillness and silence. So, for example, your work that you are to do is to make sure that your mind, your soul, and your body is in balance, is in check. There is a whole serious balance in it, right? That is what you are here for. And all these things are going to be possible when you are operating.
Again, that's the physical shit. That's the physical stuff. That's still very much you balancing your physical environment, which is not a problem. Your physical still needs to be taken care of as well. I get that. But do not confuse that shit as you doing any work on your spirit, because that's just your body. That's just your thinking, your being, your physical self in the physical world. Spirituality or spirit is when you remember what that spirit is. That is what program it is. Spirit is equals to program in the programming world. Your spirit is program. What is your program purpose? What are you? I can call you. I can tell you I'm defragmentation. And I can also tell you I came with antivirus when I came here. Well, I kind of left them somewhere behind and they had to come through alone, chasing me. And the other counterpart was debugger. And the other counterpart that I've had to find here was storage. And the other one is recycle bin. And the other one is troubleshooter. There are such beings. So what are you? What are you? Don't tell me about Wu Wei or whoever. All those people were all doing physical kind of practices. And this is why the very same Wu Weis in them are going to have to come back into this environment to do it the right way, to ascend again, to remember what their programs were for, and to add more functionality that they will need in the 4D and the 5D. That's why most of them are stuck in heaven trying to come here, but they cannot come through because they're still very much big energies. They can't fit in here. In this environment, they are also not, it's also not such a good idea to be bringing them here with an environment that's low vibrational as this. They might just get stuck like the rest of people who got stuck and forgot who they are. But it's also because of learner programs or learner teacher programs like him are lazy to do the work, are lazy to go in there and align properly. They take things from the surface, and when I say the surface, I don't even mean intuitively. They take things from the environment. What you will see, he will talk about many different things in his talking. It's as if like, again, which is what I said to Father. These people, all of them, it doesn't matter who you, whether they are Indian or they are from like gurus in the India, or they all come up with so and so said this. Or if you look at this concept, if you look at that they build up their knowledge based on the physical environment knowledge, which is not a bad thing per se, unless if that's all you have. Therefore, it means if that information that you're building your knowledge from, your knowledge base is the information that is incorrect in the fucking first place, you're not doing anything better but polluting this environment and the database of this environment with bullshit.
From stillness. You can't operate in stillness when you are still comfortable in bill paying. You can't find stillness when you are being drained in bills and debt, okay? The society is designed to put you in debt, right? Indebted forever. In fact, my people here, they are in debt to a point that even if they are to come back again, the debt will still remain, because in fact, it's a serious situation. They have traded the priceless nature for money, okay? They are in a serious debt and in a serious karma. They didn't decide to be responsible and take control of nature, the land, to be peaceful and aligned with the land. They rather chose the other way. They were influenced. In fact, they've not even come out to even in us.
Okay, as for him, I can already, and I think this is what I said in the last defragmentation that I did for him, is that he's going to have to pay. He needs to be mindful that the things that he is saying are creating a karmic debt as well for himself. So it's all good and well to talk about other people creating debt, karmic debt, but he must also know that putting or spewing lies, right? Things that are not real, and you're creating them and you're talking about them, whether you know it or not, they are creating an energy siphoning. You're stealing energy from the environment and you're not putting anything back into it. That is what you're doing, is you're creating more problems. The more people listen to you, the more people are going to be misguided. And the more people are misguided, the more low vibrational this environment is going to get. As a result, that low vibrational lowness of it is energy drop. And that energy drop, motherfucker has to pay for it. Some fucking motherfucker out there who's been spewing shit is gonna have to fucking pay for it. Because you started that shit. You need to be mindful of the shit that you're saying. Someone is going to pay for it. I don't have to tell you. You sit down. You ask yourself, did I say these things which were truthful? Where did I find my truth? What validates this information? And when you cannot find the source, the true source of that information, you must ask yourself then why? Why did I feel it was okay for me to perpetuate things that I don't know anything about? Where did I get these lies? Why did I continue to tell them? And understand as a result that I lied in this environment. I didn't tell the truth. Therefore, I created problems. And go back and check all the videos that you've created, how many views you had. And then from then, and calculate that karmic debt of all those people who are going to create further debt because of you told them that they can do this, they can do that, and misguided them. You didn't tell them the truth, that the only thing that they need to align to is God Himself. You told them many other things about the environment and blah, 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 whatever the case may be. He's on environment now. You were talking different some other time. And that shit, after you calculated this one is 258. There's a video that I defragmented of him where he had like 3,000 or so. You must go back and do that tally yourself and imagine how many people you've wronged. How many people's programs did you interfere with? Because you didn't only interfere with the universe by putting lies into the universe like that. You interfered as well with many other programs who are going to listen to your recording and get misguided. And then what? Do you understand that when you talk about karma, do you even know how that shit is created? Everybody has karma, myself included. I had karma. I'm still working on my karmic lessons. I'm still paying my karmic debt. So don't think just because of you would be talking about rubbish that you don't know about and pretending to look like you are doing the work when you really know that you're not. Don't think that shit is not being seen by the universe. The fact that this recording or this video is sent to me to defragment is that Father knows that you keep adding bullshit into the system. You need to be stopped because of your part of the low vibrational causing shit. That is, your spewing of rubbish and misguidedness is adding a problem into the database. Therefore, you are the reason why this low vibration is happening. You are one of the big reasons why the low vibration is happening. If you go and you do the work and turn inside and read your database, that intuition that is stored within you to see what information you're supposed to be spewing out or teaching, you will help me and others who are trying to do this work in such a way that the environment starts vibrating higher. You will start talking right. You will start talking about the right concepts. You'll start understanding the things that you're talking about. And when you talk, you will be confident in that way. And also you will be teaching from the truth. It will come out. We will just hear it. We won't listen to you and be like, what is he saying? And when you do that, whether irrespective of not people are getting you or not, as long as you're not lying, right? That you're not telling the worst things in there. You're building instead of breaking. Then the environment you're going to be helping with making this environment vibrate higher. But what you're doing right now is not working. What you're doing right now, I have to come and defragment this shit. And I'm not happy about it. I'm not fucking happy with this shit. I've been getting this, I don't know how many, and he's very, he has a lot, right? I thought I said I don't want to see this person anymore. I thought I said don't recommend anymore. And I did. You know these videos, right? This person, I used to be like, don't recommend so many times. Even, I don't know, there's this other girl as well. I think I don't know. Let me not say anything. I also said don't recommend. She's gone. She's never coming back to my feed, right? They used to be there was a time when they were together, but her stuff is not coming through. But this one, hey, is resilient there. I think I defragmented him and I said I don't want to see it anymore, Father. But then Father sent me more. Father sending me more, and I'm like, shit, do I have to listen to this one? But then anyway, what caught my eye when he said, you're on earth to do nothing. And I'm like, the same old, same old. Let's sit and chant and I don't know what else they do and do nothing. You're wasting energy. On top of that, you're stealing it because of your teaching bullshit. You're stealing energy from the universe, and you're stealing energy from the individuals who are listening to this. Don't talk about other people creating karmic debt. Mind your own program. It's none of your business whether someone else is creating the debt. This is the same thing where I say, in the end, when that light came, right, when Father was upgrading, this was the 4D light, I believe. He did the 5D. I mean, not the 5D. They did the first 3D. That is, the 3D light needed to be upgraded as well. He will do the 3D. Things burned. People got old because of their energies were zapped. But when the 4D light came, this guy is the one who wants to talk about going to 5D, this one. When the 3D light came, priests were burning. And not just priests. There were other people who believed that they were okay. They were good like that. They burned. And guess what they did? They ran into their homes. And they refused to leave their homes because they felt like they went into their homes, refused to leave, covered the windows of their homes so that there's no light. That light is quite powerful. It will burn you if you have any kind of wrong energy or someone else's energy on you. It's going to have to burn it out of you, right? That energy that you acquired because of you were lying to people, you were fragmenting people in that way by telling lies. It's going to have to be burnt out of you, and you burn. They couldn't leave their homes until they started vibrating high. Lucifer and his people had to wait for the light, for the sun to set, so that they can leave the warehouses, go and fetch those people to say, come through to the warehouse so that we can help you easily there. They refused because they had this kind of perception about themselves. Then Lucifer and his people will have to work with them within their homes, some of them. It was so painful. I remember one of the guys who's with Lucifer, who works with Lucifer, having to go to his home, his family, right? They couldn't believe that he's actually doing good work for God, despite the fact that he went to hell. And he was the one who was begging them to try to work on themselves. So he would go every evening to try to coach them to learn to work on themselves. He wasn't that great either, but he could leave the warehouse. It didn't need to be too bright. Like, he can still leave the warehouse. He could handle the light. But to a degree, he can't stand on it too long. But he didn't burn, right? So those are the beings that help Lucifer to come out and try to convince people to work on themselves, and to also say the best place for you to do it is actually if you go into the warehouse, the hell. Well, I don't know what they're going to call it when it's on earth, because it's going to be here on earth. The so-called, heaven and hell is here on earth. Yeah, you're going to see that shit. You're going to see hell in this shit, in this place. That's if, of course, if this world gets there. If people start vibrating high and trying to work on themselves. And this is the sort of thing that's going to get a lot of people in trouble. The idea of thinking that they are better than others in terms of upgrading themselves or ascending spiritually. They talk about all kinds of things, awakening and whatnot, and they don't even know what that means. And that's another lie. And on top of that, this pretense that they have that they're living inauthentically, it's also stealing energy. It's making them low vibrational. And I do get low vibrational. And I don't lie about it. I don't go and be like, when I do get that way, I get that way. But I try not to stay there too long because it's not really my place. Depression and shit is not really my place. And I see sometimes they on the terrors, they say, you're going to be depressed and all of that. And I'm like, oh no, not that. Like, I'm so watching for it because it's not something that I like. I don't like to stay there. And the idea that you would think that you're better off, you will be better. That's the very shit that's going to get you in trouble. It's not about them. It's not about whatever. It's about you. Oh, so and so is not low vibrational. So and so is not this, and so is not that. You are not qualified to say that about the next person. I don't know if you have the qualifications or the authority, but I don't think so. You're not qualified. The person who's going to be qualified for that is actually the person himself. When you're being honest with yourself, you'll be like, you know what, I'm doing some comic shit right now and I need to stop. Right? Hey, I think I'm a little bit low vibrational these days. I need to pick up my energy like that. That is true awakening. That is true high vibration. That is recognizing yourself when you're even low. That something is off with me. But when you think that just because of you talk certain things, you act a certain way, you talk about certain things, that calls you to be high vibrational. Keep dreaming. You're going to wake up for real. Wake up. The true awakening will come when it needs to come. And you will see yourself. You'll have to look at yourself. You're going to see yourself. This is the thing that people don't understand when they're talking about awakening. Especially these type of people. You know what when I'm giving you a scenario here, when you wake up and you wake up to see that, oh shit, everybody who thought I was a fucking asshole was actually right. Yeah. When you wake up to see, oh my God, I'm the actual problem in this environment. Everybody's fine. I was the one who's a bitch. Yeah. That's awakening. That's what awakening will do for you. And that's the reason why a lot of people don't want to go through it. Especially these learner teacher programs. Because of they preach, right? And do the others. They do the other way. Is what did they say? They don't what they preach. They don't practice what they preach, these guys. It's not your job to do judgment on others in that way. It's not. Don't worry about them. It's when you wake up and you realize, they might have physical debt, that they owe their cars and they owe their houses and whatnot. But you actually have a true karmic debt, that is energy debt. Because those two things are not the same, hey? Not in that way. They are still energy, both of them, but karmic debt is action debt. What your actions are, what your actions did. It could be good, and it could be karmic energy. It could be karmic debt, right? It could be good karma, bad karma. And then there's also the physical debt that we did, right? Borrowing for a car, borrowing for a house or whatever. If you did it in such a way that you're paying with your own energy to pay back that debt, it's going to show. But if you did it, you took that debt, but someone else is paying part of that debt in some way, or the way you got that debt is some funny way, it's going to come up as well. So it's not to say that everybody who's got a physical kind of debt is going to be in debt karmically. So no. Are you working hard for paying that debt? Like, you actually go to work and do what you need to do, earn the money and come and pay. That's your shit. right? That's you paying your debt. But if you got the car in some weird way where somehow you're using someone else's money, half of your money and someone else's money, and you're paying for this debt, it's going to show. Because there are people who are living like that. There are people who are owning cars where the father's paying the insurance, or they are paying the installment, or they're getting insurance through their father's name or something like that. Those type of things. It's mainly you using your father's goodwill, your father's energy in that way. That kind of shit is going to be calculated in that way. So don't mind them having their own physical kind of debt, how they're living and all of that. There is a difference in the sense of it's still energy, but the true one is a karmic debt. Does your physical debt create a karmic debt as well? Or are you working for your stuff? I need to be actually corrected on this one. Father, please correct me if I'm wrong here. If I have a physical debt, I borrowed a car, I borrowed money. Well, I bought car on borrowings, like I on debt. When that light comes through and I've paid some of it, right, some of the money back. However, there's a portion of it that I'm still yet to pay. Is the energy that I haven't paid for going to be zapped when the light comes through? Because I'm trying to figure out how would that work, because I actually also believe the same thing like him. So but the energy, okay, so they'll still have to continue to pay for that energy, for that debt. But then how does the light see that? How does your programming, how would your programming be able to, would you be able to kind of like differentiate between whether the person is intention? So Father saying the intention is always going to be key. That is, you bought something on debt, but then you're still paying for it, right? But they're also saying, if I was right when I said if the part that you paid for use someone else's energy, that energy is going to be zapped. But the part where you still have to pay is going to be based on intention. That is, you intend to pay it, right? So it's not yet debt, because if you decided that, oh, I don't want to pay it, right, it's going to become debt in that way. That is, obviously, it's not even going to become debt where the light has to zap it. They will just repossess your car. But the intention of you bought this car on debt, because this is the system we're living in. This is why I'm saying you cannot change a lot of things in this environment in that way without accepting the fact that this illusional environment is what it is. So if Father and them are still in a way going to upgrade or evolve their programming in such a way that it will consider some of the things or unique things in this environment going forward, when that light comes through, why aren't you doing the same thing? Why can't you do the same thing and grow from where people used to do things in the olden days this way and move forward? That's what I'm trying to say. So what Father's saying is that the first part, the portion that you paid for, that's what I got while I was asking. It's still going to be what I said, where I said, if you use someone else's energy in some way to pay it off, the part that you haven't paid off, right? it's going to be zapped. That part that you used, it means if your car starts getting old, it means there is someone else's energy that was attached to your car that had to be evaporated, right? But the portion where you still need to pay is the intention, your intention of paying that, right? That's going to determine whether or not that portion is evaporated or not. So what I'm getting is most people will still get their cars and stuff. It's almost like if you ask somebody to help you pay for your house 1 month or so, and you never paid that back, or someone had to pay your house and you never paid them back, or somebody helped to help you pay your car sometime and you never paid them back. Oh no, he's my father, he doesn't mind. Oh no, he's my husband, he doesn't mind. Oh no, he's my boyfriend, he doesn't mind. That energy is going to be gone. That energy of that person, it's like that energy is attached. Your car is attached to someone else's energy. That's why. But the portion that you haven't paid for doesn't have a direct energy yet, even. But the intention, your intention, is also going to be put in place to determine whether or not you intend to pay that off, or you intend to somehow rob someone of it. Did you pay for the rest? Did you steal it? Because the environment, you could be sending it back, right? You could be saying, oh, I don't want to pay for the rest. I want to exchange it for something else. And that's fine. But the portion where your energy was aligned to, or to the car in some way, and someone else's energy is also part of that, that's the part that's going to be an issue. Right? But where it's just your energy, you've been working hard, my friend, and you've been paying your debt like that. It doesn't, as long as you paid back whoever borrowed you the energy, that's fine. But if you're not paying your debts backwards like that, that you're creating debt this side to pay that debt, and that debt is paying that debt. Yeah. Enjoy.
Understand how the matrix is working. They are in the matrix. They don't question. You, they are working.
This is why I keep saying, these people keep mentioning the keywords. Keywords, the matrix, vibration. What did he say the other time? Awakening. They just do mention, and those two, the concepts that he's talking about, have nothing to do with each other. They have nothing to do with each other. And this is what most of these learner teacher or these kind of teachers on YouTube or in the world in terms of spirituality talk like this. There's a next thing, there's a next concept. They jump on it. Vibration was not there before. When they started, they were not talking vibration. It gets out there and everybody's like, vibration this, vibration that. But then they don't know where to place it. Frequency. Some will say high frequency vibration, and I'm like, you don't even have the decency to sit down and understand how vibration and frequency are. How they work. How is the frequency produced? Frequency is just a measurement. The vibration is what is producing that frequency. You have to understand that shit before you talk about it. Because they don't know what to say first. So they mention them in the same light. Movement is vibration. The measure of that movement is frequency. That's how I understood frequency when I was still studying. The first thing is physics. Yeah, in physics. You'd study that in physics. And telecoms as well had that. That's what it means. It's not a very big deal. But they don't even have, it's not a big top, it's not a too scientific thing to go and find out. but they don't know where to put it. So they always say vibration to frequency. I'm like, well, what are you talking of? Frequency or vibration? This is why people say you must match the frequency of the thing that you want to be or that you want. And I'm like, what? You must match the frequency of the thing you want. I don't know what they're saying, because if you're going to match the frequency of a car, right, that frequency of that car is frequency of a car. Do you want to turn yourself into a car? Is that what you're saying? Anyway, and this is what he will mention many things. This is still a 5 minute, it's 18 minutes video, and we are at 5 minutes 50 seconds. I want to see what other concept he's going to mention during the rest of the, how many minutes or so? 12 minutes or so.
So you know how the matrix work.
Now he says
right?
Matrix.
You know how it works. You've seen the lies. You've read in between the lines, right? And you've seen the lies. You've seen the manipulation. You've seen the game, right? The game that causes gods to live like human. Okay? What if we were gods pretending to be human? Have you thought of that? And you realize that these civilization systems makes you human. It devalues your godliness. It devolves your godliness. It I want to use this word. It unranks your godliness. It brings you to your lower nature, and you become so carnal. The people that you see out there are carnal. When we say carnal, it's not body things. When we say works of the flesh, it's just simply the artificial systems that is controlling your body. It is the robots, okay? The robotic work, okay?
Now he's
Listen,
a robot.
the things that are coming in to fuse in your body, okay? To make you forget who you are, or to put you in an amnesia state. This is what people should know. That life is just simple. You wake up, enjoy nature, you stay conscious in your reality, you build your reality.
Oh,
and I don't
God.
think it's
Another
work.
concept again.
So we still
Create your reality.
another way. Because if you wake up to meditate, if you wake up to do some yoga, if you wake up to go and water your garden, if you wake up to focus on your skill, if you wake up to eat, this is not work. This is your state. This is your living. Living is not work, right? The moment we see work, then we see a certain technical effort that shifts you from your natural state into a certain artificial accomplishment. At the end of the day, you can accomplish, but you'll be left hanging because the base, which is nature, is not there, right? Work out your salvation with fear and trembling is the fact that you till the earth, because you know that without the earth or without nature, there isn't life, right? And we are in the return. This is what I should tell the people, that we are in the return. This is what I have to tell them, that we are in the return into the dark age. The dark age is not evil. It is simply the age that we are having survivors who survived every reality, and they are empowered in their survival skills. It is a life that is not powered by machines. So the dark means to the high feminine, to nature. Dark age simply means the age in which we uphold nature's work more than anything. Your ancestors were powerful natural beings that were tilling the earth. You came on earth to till the earth, and I have not changed that thing. It's not changed. These are the fundamentals that will keep you going. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. Is nature. Nature is the true God. before your gods came, this whole Anunnaki fraudulent scheme, before it all came, there was God. And I told you the creator.
This guy just keeps digging himself in, you know. He talks about so many things in the same. I mean, I from the Matrix, he moved to some feminine something, and then he moves to. Oh, goodness. Now he's on the Anunnakis, and ish, this is bad. And that shit is also creating karma. So he doesn't owe only the universe, he will owe also God because of his lying. He says God is nature, is the true God. That's what he said. He's lying in that essence, right? God is part of nature, not that nature is true God. And then he's talking about the Anunnakis that he has no real understanding of it as well. And he is lying as well because he did some Anunnaki thing and I had to defragment that. But what I'm trying to say is he's also going to owe the Anunnaki people for lying about them. He's just adding shit on top of shit. And he's talking about people's karma. This one.
Is a woman, and that is nature, right? The mother, right? The melanin and the carbon recognize the reality. And that is why I want the people to be aware of the fact that you are a soul that is here to rest, to be at peace, to serve your soul. You came here to serve your soul. You came here to please your soul. You came here to allow your soul to experience this plane. This is the only plane that you can have every dimension that you want. You were not from somewhere into nature. You are made of nature. You are not a stranger here. This place recognizes you. There has been cycles and reincarnations that happen on this plane. This is the only plane that reincarnation is possible, and our souls are to reincarnate here. So whatever that we do on here, we are not separate from whatever we do on here. Whatever we do on here, we are one, and it affects us. So we have to be more conscious, aware, and present in this reality, because your life is not what you are seeing on the phone. Your life is not what they are telling you on the TV. Your life is not even what your parents are telling you. I told you about your parents, that your parents came to just, fuck themselves and bring you over here, right? Now it's up to you to work out your soul. They came to bring you here for labor work. For labor work, you came for labor work. And the suffering becomes intense when you come from a parent that do not have any level of self-awareness, that are not conscious, that are not present, that are not highly connected to nature. Those parents will make you suffer, right? But we appreciate the universe that awakening has come to the point that the call has been so massive. And now people are beginning to question the system. People are beginning to question the lies. Justice is about to be seen because the lies cannot stand the truth. The lies are meant to be exposed. And I told you that they used many things like religion, education curriculum, classroom learning. They used all those things to keep you distracted. It's just to buy time. It's a buying time. They use those schemes to get you distracted for a certain time because they know that it's not going to last. The people, when they are manipulated and they are bullied, they can't be bullied forever. One day, the people will wake up and they are going to see that they were lied to. And that is how we are going to break a wrong reincarnation system. We need to rest. We need to stay still. We need to be in that I and I. We need to stay grounded and focused and become aware of whatever that we are doing in the day. Right? It is very important.
So I'm being called to talk about this reincarnation system. So how Father, I remember Father talking about it, that they keep people in a reincarnation loop. And this is how they do it. They will delete a part of your process, a mission, or memory of something that you've done. That would mean that you've completed your path, right? In order for you to feel, or your program to think, that it hasn't completed its path. And they usually delete it towards the end of your cycle. That is the end of your processing cycle. They would delete that information there, that the event itself, so that you don't remember that you actually got through this part. You actually finished your process, so that you don't need to come back here. That's how they're keeping you in the reincarnation loop. They did that to me as well. And how they did it to me, this is where Father said, I'm going to need to remember the place where they put me in. So they kind of like caused me to fall into the specific. This is where I say that is some sort of a simulated environment, their environment. They caused me to fall into it. And after causing me to fall into it, they just kept me going on and on and on and on, right? And it was so that I forget certain things about my life before. That's what I'm understanding now. However, I kept waking up and remembering that my husbands are out there. This one who I'm with is not my husband, right? Because I fell into, I fell on the ground, but then I couldn't get back up to my counterparts who were in a war, in sort of like up in the sky, right? I wouldn't call it heaven, but you would say, yeah, they were up in the sky and going through a battle there, a war of some kind. So I was on one of my counterparts' ship, and something happened, and I was jacked out and I fell. Those ships then were not like covered on the sides, but when I fell, all of a sudden I'm ending up. I fell, but then I woke up in another place where I was on another smaller ship, and I was with this being here who kept telling me that he didn't say he's my husband. He kept saying, I'm his, you are mine, something like that. And I was like, I can't be this. I don't know you. Who are you? Right? They were trying to clear my memory of my counterparts, the actual counterparts that I came with or I was with at the time. So as they kept doing that, like this is essentially what I'm going through right now. They kept making sure that whenever I slept, I woke up, I would be like, where am I? I would be like confused. Where am I? Who's this person? Who are you? And he'd act like he's my husband, or him and I know each other. And I'm like, no, I don't know you. Where am my husband? How did I get here? And I kept asking that because they kept trying to wipe that memory of me and these people. That is my counterpart. But then that's the part where at some stage my counterparts find me. They realize that there is this simulated environment. They come in, two of them. When they came through, they find me obviously with this person, and they like, this person needs to come with us. And he wants to fight for it, right? He's like, there's no way, she's mine. She fell into my ship, therefore she's mine. They're like, no, you cannot have her. It's not like, it doesn't work like that, right? And now he refuses, and these counterparts of mine are like, you know what, you're going to give her back whether you like it or not. So they go and they start fighting. We are different ships, but they start pushing this other ship down because theirs was more like advanced and bigger, and they started chasing and pushing it down until we crashed. Obviously we don't get hurt in that way, but when we fell, because I remember one of my counterparts saying, we're gonna hit destiny if you keep it this up. What if they crash? We're gonna hit destiny. The other one is like, I will never ever let this other person have her in that way. There's no way. Anyway, destiny is strong, she'll survive. So they come after that us, and then they keep bumping our ship until he lost control and we fell. They also lost control of their ship. We both fell, right? But we were alive. There it starts now. I have to get out. He is like, you cannot go there. You don't know them. But I'm trying to think, and I'm like, I remember these two people. They're trying to convince me that I should come with them. And I feel like I should come with them. But this one keeps trying to reiterate the lies that they've been trying to do and wipe these two guys out of my memory. And eventually I remembered them and I'm like, no, man, I'm going with them. So I'm standing between the two of them, right? The two groups. There's the two counterparts and there's this guy behind me. And I have to go to any one of them. So eventually, while I'm supposed to go to my counterparts, the other counterpart, the third counterpart, comes through into the same environment, charging in like that, finds us, stops his ship. But as he's doing that, we are not paying attention to the man who stole me in a way. He, at that stage, grabs me and he's trying to run with me. But by the time he tries to run, they turn back and they see that, oh my goodness, he's trying to make a run for it. So now it's like they have to stop him. They try to stop him. He has me now in his hands and he's threatening, obviously, to harm me or kill me if they don't let me go with him or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is that was my vision. That was my part of the process that they took out. And Father said, you're going to have to remember this in order for you to be able to understand that you actually do complete your mission. You actually completed your mission. I've completed this thing before. But the problem is I come back and redo it because I don't have that peace at the end of me completing the mission. And this is what Father said, I'm going to give you a gift. And I think this is the gift of memory of the last part of my cycle that I had to run in order for me to finish this mission, this phase of this mission. And he does that. He gave me this gift to remind me that there's going to be this point. You're going to live it in a 21st century way. Because when I was living it then, when I was doing it then, I was in India. I was some sort of a I don't know what I was, maybe a princess of some kind or something like that. And these are like kings or princes or something like that. That's just my counterparts. I don't know if they call them princes or something, but they're like kind of royalty kind of people there. Anyway, this is me in India. I lived that life. I defragmented this environment at that era. But I keep coming back. It was like a long time ago. But I keep coming back into this environment, trying to rerun and rerun. And every time they just keep killing me before I finish. Killing me before I finish. And before I finish, they make sure that I kill me before I finish this part. Before I get to this end of this path again. And remember that, oh, I'm done. I don't have to come back. And that's how they forcefully reincarnate you, by taking a portion of your memory that is important, especially the last one, so that you think that you still need to do something here, and then you come back. Now, you're going to, most probably, not all of you, but many people are going to realize that they might have been, their memories might have been wiped for a specific portion of their path. They might have walked their paths before, maybe even completed their mission and understood what their purpose is. But they keep making sure that you don't remember. You don't remember anything. You don't remember that you're a program. You don't remember that you ran your mission. That you don't remember that you actually completed your mission. And this is why it's very, very important for you to align with Source, with God Himself, so that you can remember. All this clutter of misinformation, of concepts which are bullshit, is essentially the way they're making you not to remember. If you follow this crap, you will always end up in the cycle of trying to go back and forth. You will reincarnate here. Well, I don't know if you're going to get that chance, because there's no fucking reincarnation again this time. You either shape up or you fucking gone. That's what it is. You're going to have to remember in order for you to move, because we move into the 4D. If you're going to reincarnate, you can't reincarnate in the 4D when you don't have the energy for 4D. This is what you're here for. You're not here to fucking sit on your ass and eat oranges and stuff here, right? You're here to remember who you are, not remember who you are. You're here to upgrade your program. You're here to learn to upgrade your program to vibrate high enough for you to be able to handle the next dimension and the next dimension, so forth. No one came here to fucking sit and eat oranges or pineapple, whatever. You came here to work on yourself. That's what you came here. You came here to work on yourself, on your spirit self, on your program. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot for you to do that. But it can be done. It's not difficult. It's just, yes, it is a lot of work. Just because if it's a lot of work, it doesn't mean it's difficult. The difficult part comes in when you have such fucking egos of thinking that you're so fucking good enough for I don't know who, that you wouldn't even want to think that you're on the same level as other people. I know that I could be called high vibrational. I still don't call it in that way. That is so, and someone could say, obviously the universe could say, that's going to be a problem for you. Because I don't like to think of myself as done. I'm not done vibrating. I'm not done high vibrating, that is. And it's not because of I put myself in a situation where I'm like, I want to reach the highest vibration. There's no such a fucking thing. But I will not pretend like, oh, you know what? I'm vibrating high and I'm just going to like, vibrate. No, this is the trap where you're going to fall. But the question is, even if you do fall, it's okay. It's okay even if you do get low vibrational. The trick is learning to fucking pick yourself up. And that shit is, this is why I'm saying it's work. That shit is iterative work that you have to come back and do over and over again. But it's not to say that you can't vibrate you wouldn't be able to vibrate that high. I actually need to pause a little. I think I have something stuck in my throat or something. Maybe I'll come back and switch on and listen to the rest of it.
Yeah, to wake up, to clean your room, to sweep, to stay present in your environment, to recognize your gardens, to create your own food system, to create your water system, to also create your skill system that is naturally based, and it is also something that can be used to attract whatever that you want, right? So yes, we are not even here to force nature to do something for us. We are not here to force a covenant with nature. Our soul is one with nature, and the covenant is unbreakable.
I should have stayed at home then. I should have stayed in heaven if that's what I came here to do, because all this shit I don't like doing. I came here to make beds, to make my bed and to eat. I've already said if there's any upgrade that I would like for 4D and 5D, it's never to have to poop, it's never to have to pee, it's never to have to clean, and if I do have to eat, it shouldn't be for nourishment in that way. It should be for enjoyment. So I should have just fucking stayed at home. I shouldn't have come here if that's what I came here to do. Why would you come here for such? Why would you? What really? Is this why you're here? So much of energetic beingness in a physical environment that this world is actually keeping the rest of the universe from moving forward because it's so delayed. And we are waiting for people to just eat fruit and make their beds. And what did he say? Plant something and water your garden. Aye, Father, just get on with it then. Just upgrade. We don't have to wait for these people. They are here for nothing. They are here for bullshit. People are living the life of gods out there in the spiritual world. People are living the life of gods out there in the 5D, other 5D worlds. You want to be God. God of what? God of making your fucking bed. Are you fucking serious? Am I really hearing this shit? Oh my God. God of eating oranges. What is this? You think God has such energy to waste on creating a being like you just so you can come here and loaf around and maybe do your bed, make your bed, or maybe water your garden or whatever. Hey, Father said something about learner tools, learner teacher tools. He said it was first time, actually, not first time when I remember hearing him use the word they are lazy. He said that. He said they are lazy. They don't want to do. It's not that hard. It's just that they are lazy to learn. And this, you hear it. I don't even have to say anything. Anybody who's going to listen to this is going to hear exactly why God was saying these people are lazy. Father said, and I was like, what's wrong with him? Father said, they are lazy. Osho threw even a tantrum. He said, Osho was Father was showing me Osho throwing a tantrum. I was like, what is he doing? He's like, he's throwing a tantrum. He's lazy. He doesn't want to do the work. And I was like, what do you mean he doesn't want to do the work? It's like, no, they are like this. Most learner teacher tools are like that. They don't want to do the spiritual, the real thing. They like to thumbsuck shit out of nowhere, right? And I nearly said something else. I nearly said they like to thumbsuck shit from their asses. I just had a mental picture of it and I was like, stop, Destiny. But they're just making me upset.
Okay, this is something that you should know.
Yo. Thank you.
And it is very important. This is the kind of truth that they want us to stop talking about. These are the kind of truths that they persecute us about. It is all on this truth. So if you hear that Nana Kwame is here telling you that, oh, I've been through this and that, and I've been assaulted by the people, you should know that it all comes back to this moment. They don't want us to have a moment like this where we can freely express ourselves and speak our truth. So they try to create a problem to find this way to us. But now that we've come to realize that, okay, people are the problem, we position ourselves at where we are going to have less engagement and rather have more focus on our soul and not become distracted. Land, Food and Skills is on. Yes, I birthed it. And anyone who stays highly connected to this project is going to see the truth, is going to see the reality. It's not for everyone, right? I told people that the difference between me and just a farmer is that the farmer is farming for the city, for the market. Farmers don't farm because they even have to eat it. They farm for...
Shut the hell up. Shut the fuck up. There's a thing called subsistence farming. And many people have been living like that for a very long time. What is he talking about? Not every farmer is a commercial farmer. You see why I say this person doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about? Does he understand that there's various levels of farming or various level of anything really? Not many things will have different ways of doing it. Farming is different. It depends. There's commercial farming, yes, but there's also subsistence farming, which is what people used to live on from then. Even today, there's still people who subsistence farm. Some might not necessarily be calling it farming, but they could call it gardening and stuff, but it's not like farming in that way. It's like subsistence farming. You produce as much as you can, because when you produce food, sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's not so good, it's not so lot. Whatever is extra, you sell on the market, you sell to your neighbors most of the time, or you barter. In those olden days, they would barter them, like, okay, I'll give you my pumpkins, 10 pumpkins, you give me something, or grain and pumpkins and whatnot, and you give me a sheep or something like that. So now he's making it sound like he's one is revolutionary like that. I mean, seriously, this person is just too much. Father, please don't send me this person again. Please. I hope this is the last one.
Mostly profit. It's more of profit and less of eating. But me, no. I am that soul that is doing everything for my soul. So before I tell somebody that, okay, I have tomatoes, pepper, lettuce, plantain, I must have had enough loads and bags of plantain with me for my eating. We are planting for survival. We are planting, we are building for survival. We are not building for renting. We are not building for hotel. We are building for our own survival satisfaction. And that is where we know we have sought for the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God. So all things are going to come because we are experiencing a certain abundance. I cannot give you when I don't have abundance. That is my principle. So that moment when you have that enough, okay, to cater for yourself and your reality, then you can look forward to also look at others and also the people, right? You can like and share and subscribe. It's an amazing moment right now.
I like the way the child at the back there always, whenever he's talking, is like, da, like, it's like, you're telling lies. You're telling lies, Father. You're telling lies again. I always like it when I hear him, you know, talking at the background there. He's always doing that, this child. Anyway, I think he's done. I'm not going to listen to his advertisement and stuff. Um, yeah, so what else do we say here, Father? I think sometimes he's confusing a lot of things in his life, and this is why he's. Do I defragment him in that way? He might not reach his destination or his mission, purpose, or whatever, or even wake up because he focuses on too many things at the same time, too many concepts which are not related to each other. And none of it is true as well, because all the concepts that he's mentioned, except for maybe vibration, maybe even, but he doesn't understand what that means as well. Awakening as well, he doesn't understand what it means. The rest of it is just how he wants to live, right? It's up to him if he wants to live like that. I also want to live like that. I always had a garden at home, and I always wanted to plant a garden. And I think this is something that I get from my great grandmother as well, or my function. And I'm that kind of a person who wants to produce, even if it's just a tomato. Today in my uncle's place, I was harvesting cherry tomatoes and some, what we call them, narkis. I don't know what they call them in English anymore. I forgot. I know, but it's a citrusy kind of food. And I also try to, like, I'm not really doing gardening in that way because I refuse to. Not here. But should I be here longer, I might just start that garden. I started it, but yeah, I decided that I'm not going to give energy to this environment. my energy into this environment in that way. Perhaps I might need to going forward, because this is a prime time for me to prepare the beds and stuff in winter to get rid of the weeds. And but yeah, I get that. That is like one of the things that people, it's a choice. It's a personal choice of how you want to live. It's not supposed to be pushed on everybody. However, I would say I do understand when people say learn how to plant. You don't have to plant in like ground soil like that. You can just plant a tomato. Only just a tomato, but just know how to grow things. It's important. Know how to grow things. Know how to make a good fire. Right? Even if you use matches and stuff, because you don't have to go and do the whole way of trying to rub wood on wood to create fire. But some people don't even know how to light a fire, like a fire for braaiing or for cooking. Learn how to, make a fire for cooking. For cooking, just for cooking. Know how to set up that whole thing. Just know how to do that. The basic stuff that should you need to do that in some other future, because things are not going to, we don't know, maybe things will vibrate high enough and then we will not get into a state where we have to resort back to things not working out. Then we have to maybe sometime do a little bit of living the way people used to live, but it's not to say that we're going to live that way, you know. Makeshift fires and things like that, it's not a big deal. I think it's important to learn how to make a fire though, for cooking. Anyway, like how to light not to say, and how to light it safely, because of obviously some people don't understand that it's not just about starting a fire. It's where you're starting a fire. How you're starting a fire. Are you protecting the environment from it? Things like that. Like little survival kind of skills, I get. Right, I get it. How to start a fire, how to control your fire, how to cook with on fire, how to cook on fire. I used to love baking my breads on fire in a Dutch oven. Oh goodness, I miss that. But things like that, I get it. But that's a personal thing. That's a personal uh choice. But it's not a bad thing to learn. I also feel like it's not a bad thing to learn. Know how seeds work. Basic seeds, things that you normally eat. A tomato is very easy to grow. The things that I harvested today, the cherry tomatoes that I harvested today, you know how we plant them? We just throw them there in the ground and they decide whether or not they want to grow. We don't even cover them. I never covered them. And I'm harvesting tomatoes, full tomatoes. I'm harvesting, but these ones I didn't see. My uncle saw them. It's like, wow, we got cherry tomatoes there, and there's a lot. You know how cherry tomatoes can go wild as well. I also did some these herbs that come back every time. Things like that that are very easy. You just throw it there and it grows. The seeds just are very easy to grow. You can start that way. That I get, or in pots. That I understand. But to have to make it seem like it's the standard of living, or it should be the standard of living, that's bullshit. It's your standard of living. Leave it there with you, right? For the rest of us, we would like to buy our stuff from the market if we can. I'm kidding. I actually enjoy harvesting stuff. Uh, I enjoy, but it can also get out of hand. Um, but I do love that. I do love, I'm that girl that would grow things, harvest, can them. Yeah. And it's nice to learn some of these skills. But I also like the fact that today you can actually do them in a very modernized way. You don't have to grind with stones and stuff. It's quicker. You just throw in, you just have to buy get like a good food processor, and you're good to go. You're good to go. I ground my own wheat flours, like what do you call it? Oat flour. I forgot the other one when I was doing bread, and with a coffee grinder, even not even with a blender, with a coffee grinder. So just learning how to do those things, it's enough. And funny thing is, a lot of people are doing that today. To be honest, in some way, they're doing that. Some people are trying to go back to eating as healthy as possible, and the environment also. You think that these things are going to be healthy just because of you planted them. You better think again. The rain has something in it. Ah, yeah, well, good luck with that. They will put shit in the rain anyway. The best thing is for, well, the best possible outcome in the situation is that your plants, um, your crops, uh, what's the word for it? They grow from that. That is, they learn to process that whatever, right? That they're putting in the food, and your body as well learns to kind of process it, and then you evolve with it, because they're going to try this shit unless they stop being low vibrational. Yeah, but yeah, the best thing is that our bodies, our physical bodies, have to evolve to it. The crops have to evolve to it. You can't hide from this shit. Where are you going to go? You're going to live underground. What about the water that still goes in there? There's going to be something that they're doing. So you can't run away from it. I do, though, feel like planting certain things are not this heirloom stuff. What I like about them is that they don't get many insects like issues. However, they don't grow big. Some of them don't grow that big. They don't grow big, and they don't produce a lot. Where the spinach used to, the modern one, genetically modified one, will produce a lot. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, but the rest of it, man, let's just go find out whether you should be eating fish or you should be eating spinach from your ancestors. Seriously, enough of this rubbish of people trying to tell others how to live. We listen to so much of this hogwash, even with health, right? And yes, there's some ideas which are good ideas. I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a health person like that. But I can tell, because I have listened to my body, that whenever I eat something like this, I'm not feeling good. But when I eat this, I'm performing better. I'm back to eating chocolate now. And I remembered I ate it for a couple of days, right? And I'm seeing my skin getting smoother, and my blemishes going away. And I'm like, you know, I forgot that chocolate actually heals my wounds. For some reason, it does it for me. I don't know why. I've always done that. And I used to eat a lot of chocolate when I was growing up. When I was young, especially, I used to eat a lot of chocolate. I never had a pimple. And I never used to understand when this friend of mine used to be like, how is it that you eat so much of chocolate, but you don't get pimples? And I just eat it one time, like a small piece, and I get like a rough cast. What do they call it? I forgot. Like a lot of pimples. And I'm like, I don't know. For some reason, it works for me. And I had this colleague of mine who used to buy me chocolates as well at work. They'd be like, you like chocolate? Like, I liked it so much that whenever somebody wanted to be nice to me in some way, they knew they had to bring me a chocolate. But this one was over. He could afford it, so he would buy a plastic bag full of chocolates. Anyway, but what I did was, whenever I ate the chocolates, my skin would smooth out, and I'm in a journey of clearing my skin because of some of the torments. They attack the skin. In my face. I mean, clearing my face, the skin on my face, and some of the torments, they essentially make me have pimples. I feel it even happening. It's like I would be just standing here, and I would feel like something is like on my sides of these black marks here. People think it's from hormones and whatnot. No, you must listen to your skin. If it feels tingly, that moment, you must ask yourself, did you hear any tapping somewhere or something like that? Most probably they were sending some sort of, I don't know, for me they did that. Because I'm not a blemished kind of person. I never was. And all of a sudden when they started this shit, I started getting a lot of blemishes and my skin has a lot of dark spots now. So I'm trying to clear that. And I noticed that whenever I eat chocolate again, I'm like, it didn't take long. And it never took long even before. It used to be like a short time, maybe 2 weeks or so, with me having. The thing is, I don't also eat a lot. I could buy one slab of chocolate and I could eat the whole week. But I've seen that people sometimes eat the whole slab in 30 seconds or something like that. But I would have it like, I would eat it gradually. So, like every day, if I had like at least, like 2 portions or 3 portions or 4 portions, whatever I am feeling like, of a chocolate, and then I put it away. The best one for me was Lindt because I don't feel like I need to eat a lot of it. It has this sense of satisfaction that when you eat one or two, you don't want another one. And that's why I loved it. And other than that, if there's this other chocolates which are still good, but you to be satisfied, you have to eat a lot of it. Yeah, but preferably something which is much more chocolatey, creamy, that will make me feel like, I don't want any more. Two is enough. But yeah, let's move forward with our upgrades and stop going back too much backwards. The backwards, that is your ancestry. You're supposed to understand them. You're supposed to align with them as well. But you must also evolve yourself from where they left off the baton. You must run from there and onwards forward because they need to come through as well. It's almost like, Father, please correct me if I'm wrong. If you don't upgrade your program in this lifetime, right, your ancestors as well are not going to come through to 4D and 5D because this is the point where Earth is being given a chance to come with for the rest of the upgrades going forward. Because of it was hidden, it didn't get an opportunity to get upgraded to 4D and then 5D. So everybody else in the universe is standing at 5D and we need to catch up with them. But if you don't upgrade, if any program in this environment doesn't upgrade themselves to be able to go into the 4D, then they won't be able to go into the 5D because the functionality for you to move to the 5D, you can't skip. What I understand is that you can't skip 2 upgrades. That is, you can't skip 3D. And when you get to 4D, it's going to be difficult for you to do 4D because of you don't have 3D. Therefore, you're going to skip 2 upgrades. And then the next thing you know, you cannot get to 5D because of you skip 2 upgrades. You can't upgrade from 3D straight to 5D. And this is why I keep trying to say to people, these people think that they're going to jump 4D. Why? Why would you think you're going to jump 4D? Where has you ever, do you know how to count? Seriously. If there is 1-dimensional and 2-dimensional, scientifically so, 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, and all of a sudden 4-dimensional is not important. We want to go to 5D. All right, go ahead. We will just go through the process and do 3D first because that's the 3D we need to do. We still need to get ourselves high vibrational in this environment, put it back to its original, not original state, but in a solid state where it's vibrational enough for 3D environment before we can even think of moving to 4D or 5D, right? And once we do that, we move to 3D, your children will also get that upgrade. It's both ways, this thing. It's ancestry and the lineage going forward. If your program fucks up this 3D upgrade, That is, as a father, as a mother, as a whatever, you won't be able to upgrade your children as well. And your children, if they also don't come up as well because of what you're going to go through, unless your children are able to do it without you, at least they will get the 3D and 4D, right? I mean 3D, but they might be able to move to 4D. Am I right, Father? Will the children move through? Okay. What I'm getting is it's still dependent on you in some way. It's like you can't be left out of it, in a sense of you are that part, you are that program. So when the program has to be upgraded, when everybody has to be upgraded, right, from your ancestors, you'll be that one link in the chain that is weak if you didn't upgrade. Shit. Yeah, this shit is serious. This is why your children are going to have a problem moving forward. And your ancestors are not going to come with. That is, your whole fucking program is going to have a problem. So you need to upgrade. You need to drop the bullshit, drop the fucking egos, drop the craziness, and start aligning to source. What I'm telling you is from what I aligned to source with. You're going to find out your true truth with aligning with God himself. And maybe you can come back and teach me properly as well. To say, you know what, Destiny, you were lying here and there. You also owe karma. It's fine. Go ahead. I'd like to see you do that. Because if you don't do that and you keep doing this whole thing of talking lies here, you're putting us backwards, man. And you want to go backwards. You want to remain backwards. That's such a lazy fucking talk. Seriously. Grow up. You don't need shit like this in the 5D. Then stay here. Because we don't need... to be honest, let's think about it. If 5D is an upgrade, not if 5D, 5D is an upgrade. 5D has more light. 5D has more energy. 5D is just that high vibrational. What the fuck are we going to be doing with your fucking lazy ass in the 5D? What are you going to do for us? Because when we get there, the shit that you're talking about is not even relevant anymore. Like I said, I don't remember. Okay, I do remember eating. I do remember us eating in the spiritual world. But I don't remember even how food tasted like. I remember Father had to start the ritual of us sitting around the table and eating in order for me to learn earth customs, some of the earth customs, so that I don't find them weird if I have to do them, when I have to do them when I'm on earth. So he asked everybody to come to join in on sitting around the table and eating. And if I remember, some of them were coming home. I don't remember seeing people really eating like that, but I remember us sitting around the table and Mother having prepared something to eat. I feel like it's almost as if like we wanted to eat or we don't want to eat. It doesn't matter. Eating is not a thing there. It's like I'm saying, I don't want to eat because of it's nourishing for my program. I want to eat because I want to enjoy it. I think it was like that. I'm just trying to think if I saw any fruit trees in heaven, on the heaven part, right, where at the back of my father's house. The trees there are like palm trees, but their leaves are feather-like and white, right? So there's no fruit. I didn't see any fruit there. When you go to paradise, it's a lot of nature, similar to what I see here in this environment sometimes, especially my backyard, the backyard that I'm in now. I don't remember them having fruits there. I don't remember seeing fruits. I'm trying to think. I guess because there you create what you want. The same talking that these guys are trying to think they can do in the 3D. No, you have to be upgraded. It's an environmental change, that 5D. The creation part of it that you want to do, you're only going to do it once Father upgrades us to 5D. Right? You're not going there, yes, but it's an environmental change. Earth has to change to a 5D. I wonder what the fruits will look like. Probably bigger. A much more high vibrant. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, what are we going to do with your lazy program when we get to 5D? What are we supposed to do with you when you get to the 5D? What's the need for you? What is your purpose? What would be your purpose, your program purpose in the 5D if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing even on the 3D? What is your worth when we get there? Why should you be coming along? In any case, you won't be coming along, because if you fail to work on yourself, you're essentially going to be, like I said, not killed in that way. It's that you're going to have to live under the rock or something. You're going to have to live under the shadow. And at some stage, it's not going to be even possible to live under that shadow, because there is a light that's going to penetrate the core of the earth. And that light will essentially get rid of everybody and anybody who hasn't done what they were supposed to do. It's much more brighter. And that's just 4D. We're not even in the 5D. So the 3D and the 4D gives us an opportunity for us to work on ourselves, upgrade ourselves, keep that high vibration. And it's not a big deal. It's not a big job. Come on, people. It's not. It's not. It's just you dropping the egos, the shitty egos that people are talking about, the bad concepts that are just confusing you, that you don't understand, and you don't even know what question to ask when they're talking about it. It's like, huh? You don't know what way to start whenever they're talking about these things. It's those type of things. You're focusing on yourself. You're focusing on God. You don't feel funny when you pray, despite the fact that you probably had an issue with him at some stage. He's not that kind of a vibration. He doesn't look you in that way. He looks at you as a program, like he is. Yeah, you did what you did, whatever the case may be. That's fine. You move forward. Judgment is self. You judge yourself in that way. You're going to judge yourself. Self-judgment, it says so. You judging yourself. Like, did I do good here? Right. So it's not in that way. They are too high vibrational, those people, to be looking at you in that way. They don't have time for you like that. They have time for you in a sense of, oh, you're ready? Oh, okay. So let's look at you. You were supposed to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you're stuck here. How do we get you to the next point? That's all they do. Yes, you're going to have to get rid of some emotional stuff, perceptions. You're going to cry about it. They'll give you a tissue. I'm kidding. They don't give you a tissue. You'll cry about the shit that you did, the shit that you thought God did. I still get my father wrong till today. And it will be a beautiful thing when you end. It will be like, yeah, it was painful, but I'm glad I got through it. And you live happily ever after, until somebody says something and you're like, fuck this. And you get back into that low vibration. But because you've been taught very well by the masters of spirituality themselves in the spirit world, your spirit team, right? You get to learn, you know how to fix yourself. It's not a question of days or whatever. It's like, let me drop this low vibrational shit and move on, right? And think about other things. I don't have time for this. Then that shit won't touch you even next time. And the environment is going to be supportive, because the more of us vibrate high, the more of us keep high vibration, the more of us remember who we are, the more of us start moving and working and walking in our spiritual selves, right? In the physical environment. The environment is going to get so high vibrational. Nobody's going to come at you like that. They don't have time. Everybody will be minding their own fucking programs, right? the teachers who are teachers are going to be probably teaching correct. Not even, they're probably going to be focusing. Oh gosh, I'm kind of lying. What Father said about these teachers is that they either shape up or they shape out. He said, I'm already doing that function as well. And I was like, no, I don't want to do this function. And Father's like, you have to choose. Either you do it or they keep messing up the database. Which one is it? And this is where I said, oh, fuck, I have to do it then. Because of if I don't and I leave it to these guys to, this is their function. For me, the function wasn't to teach in that way. It was more to learn the program and fix it, right? Learn your program and fix it and put it back together again. But because of Father said, because of you already learning what the program does and you're building it back into its solid state, you might just as well teach that learning, right? That's how I got to be a teacher program. I think my other ancestors as well. But the problem is these teacher ones, this learner teacher, which are programmed specifically for that function, that purpose, are doing their best to do the most bullshit in the system, right? They're doing their best. I promise you, there are no other low vibrationally aligned kind of motherfuckers as these groups of fucking called learner teacher. And I said that. They're fucking pissing me off. Because on one point, they don't want to pick up their shit. 2, they keep creating it. And 3, somebody else who's going to have to clean it. And who's that? Me. And I keep getting annoyed. This is why I'm saying I have to, as soon as I'm done with this recording, I'm going to make sure I do the don't recommend. And I hope he stays unrecommended going forward. Because I cannot listen to any more of this bullshit. He's making me upset. Oh my goodness. Father said, he made you upset. Something about you stopped listening to him. He made you upset. Yeah. I remember when Father said to me, oh no, we found a good one. Father had such hopes for this one. He said, oh, we found a good one. He's young as well. And he was so excited about him. But then sometimes we were working on him. He says, you're going to work on him. And then he comes back, is like, hey, that other one, he just kept going the other way, right? He's lazy as well. He's disappointed now. And he's like, and I'm like, well, whatever. And he's like, I was really hoping you would at least have some sort of assistance, right? And I was like, I'm not expecting much from these people anyway. So he comes back later, it's like, hey, that guy, he made you upset. He's gonna make you upset, and you're going to kind of like cuss him out or something. Like, you're gonna cuss all of them out. They're gonna make you upset. You're gonna cuss all of them out. It's like, let's see. But then another thing, he does wake up this one. He will at some stage, but something's going to happen to him that will make him take shit seriously and stop going and start teaching properly. I don't understand why these people always have to have some way of talking. Osho goes like, they always have to pretend like there are some floating on some. Like, I don't know why, if that's how they talk, maybe, but I don't think so, because I've seen Osho talking in another video. He's different there. This one, sometimes he talks differently as well. Not with this high-pitched kind of thing. Maybe it's different days for different things, right? But yeah, I'm just tired of this. I've just wasted another 2 hours probably. Let me see. It's probably 2 hours or 3 hours of this. But let's just do the right thing. The right thing for me, and I will keep saying this. When you get the message, you get the message. But me, Destiny, I am not going to help you align with God in that way. I'm only going to direct you to the right source. Like, you have to pray. You have to pray to God and ask Him to show you, to help you to remember. Be open to receiving that information. You might not get it the first time, the second, whatever, but keep going, keep working on yourself. And keep working on yourself doesn't mean working on yourself as like I'm working on myself. No, it just means keep praying, keep looking for signs, keep talking to God. All I do is just keep talking most of the time. I talk a lot anyway. I just keep talking to my ancestors. And on any, like, sometimes I'm doing my own thing. And then when the thought comes through, and I think it's sent by them most of the time, and then I just talk like, okay, they're there. They want to talk about this specific thing. Why do you want to talk about this? No, I don't want to talk about it. I'm watching YouTube, and it would feel so like you need to talk about it now, and then I would do it. And I'm like, what? Right? So that is that for me. But it got to this point after going through it, learning, and all of that. It takes some time, but it's not forever. It's not a long time, and it's not something that you should actually rush. You should enjoy it. It's actually kind of enjoyable if you're looking at it in a positive light. It's like you got this group of friends that nobody else knows about, and it's just between you and them. It's kind of nice, and they can get you out of any situation, most especially emotional, spiritual, whatever, even physical stuff. As much as I crap on my father every time whenever I get nervous, this is the one thing I need to work on myself, to not get nervous. But it's not that I get nervous, I get annoyed because of there's communication issues with my program, in a sense of not my program per se only, but I have issues with my intuition because of it's delayed, because of my physical and my spiritual. My physical is tired, so it receives information, it processes information slower than my spiritual. That's the one thing, but that's recently. Two, Father sends his messages, and then the comics block it. Three, the comics also send their own bloody messages to trip me. So I have to work through and surf through the right thing in all of that, right? And that's where I get frustrated. But I'm tired. I just wish one of them could just stop. That is me moving away from an environment like this, finding a place where I don't have to be sifting through a lot of rubbish. And I get the feeling that's not going to happen. I'm going to have to just be. But I just need space. I just need peace, quiet, and some rest. But anything else, Spirit? Is there anything else, Spirit, on this one? I hope this is the last one, Father. I really do. Thank you, Spirit.